Today we're talking about politics first in retrospect, how we fared as a nation in 2020. Then we'll touch a few other nations, come back to Nigeria, look at some states that had the elections last year, and the very trending issue, which is the invasion of the Capitol yesterday in America by the pro-Donald Trump fans. And with me in the studio is the senior lecturer, Department of Political Science, University of Calabar, Dr. George Athele. Good morning, sir. Good to have you on the show.
Good morning. Good morning.
And Happy New Year to you, sir.
Well, happy survivor.
Really, that's the word. Okay, let's quickly go through in retrospect. How did we fare as a nation politically in 2020? How was the political space last year, in your own view?
Well, like I said, happy survivor to all of us who are here to review what happened or thought may have happened in 2020. I would say so far so good, because the citizens are there, the followership is there, the government is there, even though many are arguing that they were snowballing gradually into an ungovernable political system. 2020 was a tough year. 2020 was a tough year. It was a tough year because it caught government unaware. Some of the agitations that people have been talking about for so many years, put infrastructure in order, put facilities in order, make things work, implement the budget. Budget should be a cosmetic thing. Our educational system, facilities should be provided. All of this, came to the fore in 2020. And I'm happy that even government officials themselves, particularly at the national level, keep saying that some of this happening took them unaware. The first to shock all of us was the chairman of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. He said he didn't know that Nigerian hospitals are as bad as this. This, is a creation of a consistent failure of, putting things in order for people to benefit. I think 2020 in retrospect shows should give us some sober reflection, particularly political power. We should begin to reflect, soberly, what we have done that is not good, what we are supposed to do that we refuse to do, abuse of the law, abuse of fundamental human rights, and all sorts of things. So it was a challenging year actually, and I think that that both the citizens and those that are governing us need to have a rethink. We need to have some penance, so to say, and be realistic in what we are doing, because it's a signal that there are more challenges ahead, and we cannot continue to play over some of these things if we must survive as a nation. So I think 2020 was a tough year. Politically, and it was also a year of assignment. Many sectors of the economy have been given assignment to go home and write and return, and I hope that by 2021 you'll be able to return those assignments genuinely, with reasonable answers that can solve our problems.
I love the way you put it, assignment. As a lecturer, every lecturer will give assignments, and we're hoping to have been submitted this year. We look at a few things. Let me quickly take you to America. Some people say it's the greatest nation on earth. Had the elections last year. Let's start before we come down. Let's look at that political scenario. Till today, they're still having issues based on the elections that was conducted last year. Let's talk a little bit about the American politics.
You see, political issues, particularly on elections, is a normal thing, because there are diverse interests. Political parties present their candidates, they contest for elections, and people win, people lose, and all that. Now the problem is when you don't seem to have the capacity to control the post-election crisis. That is where there are issues. But pre and election situation are normal, because people are struggling to present their interests and survive it, sustain it, and that America has struggled to do from November till a certain period. Now they are in the last phase of the post-election. In fact, the election has not even been concluded, because if they are still counting votes, the Senate is still debating who won, who has not won, what they call clarification and all that. It means that the election process is still going on. So the management of the post-election process is what is very key, very important. If you remember, even in developing countries, there are minimal crises during the election. Most of the election are being announced that violence erupts. So I don't think that what is happening in America is so exceptional. It shows us the kind of democratic processes that is evolving in the 21st century. It also shows us that the supremacy of the people's will. It also shows us that we are overrating the capitalist and liberal democracy in America. You know, people keep telling you American democracy is the most powerful in the whole world. American democracy should be worshipped. You know, but what we are seeing now tells you that we must internalize our democracy to suit our norms, to suit our values, to suit our customs, to suit the reality of the Nigerian state, not photocopying the American liberal democracy and trying to practice it. We are going to have issues. So now look at it. If America itself, that has been championing and spraying liberal democracy, is having this kind of problem, how do you think that developing countries that are photocopying this kind of liberal democracy won't have problems? They will have problems, because those who are masterminding the democracy are also trying to sustain it are already having issues. So you who is learning from it, why won't you have problems? And these are one of the issues that I have been advocating for. That look, we should internalize our democracy. Let the democracy of developing countries, let Nigerian democracy reflect the character and nature of Nigeria itself, reflect the value system of Nigeria itself, reflect our thinking, our thought. But we keep saying, we keep comparing what is not comparable. In political science, we are told, we are taught that you cannot compare phenomena that are not similar. That it is only phenomena that can give you similar results that you compare. We keep comparing America, Nigerian democracy with America, with the UK. Look, the institutions are different. So you cannot build something on nothing. That's what we have been struggling to do. And I think that there is a lesson to learn from all of this. The lesson is that we must come back home, redesign our democracy in such a way that the feelers, the thinkers, the workers, the implementers of our institutions key in within the context of what survives us as Nigerians, not what survives Nigerians in US, what survives Americans in US.
Okay, let me quickly come in there. As a build-up to 2023, there is a lot of crisis back home here in Nigeria. We have the PDP having their issues, we have the APC having their issues because of zoning. What's your thinking on zoning? Because the Easterners are saying it should get to the East, and the Northerners, they still want to retain power. The Westerners are there waiting to receive power. Let's look at this zoning very shortly. What's your thoughts on it?
There's one fundamental thing I want to say. You don't give power, you take power.
Okay.
And your ability to take power is dependent on your organization, your order, your ability to coordinate your people, your ability to coordinate. Because it is when you internalize, like I keep saying, you coordinate and have a focus, that you can now use the focus to lobby those whom you think are not within your geopolitical zone. So it's not a question of you sleeping and saying it is my turn. Power is not given. You go out and search for power. You can search for power through negotiation. You can search for power through influence. You can search for power through lobbying. You can even search for power through buying. What I mean by buying is not giving out money, but exchanging political positions, you know, in order for you to get certain positions that you want. So the question of it is our turn does not arise in a democratic system because it is not provided for in the constitution. But be that as it may, political parties sometimes try to rotate some of these offices in order to have a fair understanding, what they call justice, you know, and all that. So sometimes political party does that. But again, you must understand the fact that political parties' leadership is also not static. You know, sometimes politicians make certain promises and certain statements, you know, in order to achieve what they want at the moment. And once that is done and gone, you know, the next person who comes on board tells you that, well, we are revisiting, we are still reviewing the situation and all that. The question of zoning is not a bad idea for those who think that power should go around. But I am saying that I normally associate zoning with morality. You know, is it moral that you have ruled, I have not ruled, but is power given, you take power. And how do you take power? You organize yourself. So one of the challenges that I have always said for so many years in conferences is that, look, the southeastern part of Nigeria need to reorganize its leadership structure. They have not been able to do that to a very large extent. They have to do that. You know, all the 5 states of the south, it must come together and leave the political party affiliation first. Because what they are looking for now is political power. Whichever political party it comes from shouldn't matter for now. What should matter for now is that the leadership or the national leadership should come from that. So let them organize themselves first. How do you organize? The states should begin to produce leadership, cultural leadership, religious leadership. They must come together and say, look, this is our projection. This is our aspiration, rather, for 2023. To achieve this aspiration, A, B, C, you do this. A, B, D, E, you do this. Y, Z, you do this. By the time you do those strategies and send people out, you begin to review the situation very frequently and know where your obstacles are. And anywhere you find obstacles, you go to find solution to it. You cannot just on the pages of newspaper or social media and sit down and be shouting that we want power, it is our turn. What turn? Is it provided for in the constitution that they should give is turn by turn? So this idea of rotational presidency or rotational governorship or political leadership rotation were just a child of circumstances, you know, a child of convenience. Let's just do it for the purpose of equity, justice, and fair play. But again, the issue of rotation is a product of certain political leaders. It has nothing to do with the voters, because you may even put the presidency to the southeast, and the voters will vote a candidate from the north. It's a matter of population. It's a matter of choice, and that is why I'm inclusive. I have been one of the students of political science that have been arguing that, look, democracy is not the best form of government, because like Professor Richard Klein will argue. Richard Klein said that democracy is a government ruled by the idiot on the ignorant. Why did he say that? The idiots rule because those who vote for them are ignorant of the system. So these are the issues. It's not that it's not a rocket science. So let us, let us consider the voting level of our people when we talk about. Let me give you an instance. You may be shocked that even if PDP, APC, which are classified as a major political party, zone their presidential candidate to the southeast, and PRP zone its presidential candidate to Kano. My readings of political participation in Nigeria tells me that majority of the people in Kano will vote for the PRP if you allow genuine election to take place, because it is sentiment. It is a product of we versus you, I versus you. That's how the system works.
Okay, Doctor, before I let you go very quickly, what's your projection for politics this year, 2020, in Nigeria here?
Well, as governance is gradually fading away, when you have 2 years to the next election, you will be playing 50-50. What do I mean? 50% governance, 50% politics. Because this year, 2021, you will see a lot of decamping, you will see a lot of mass movement, you will see a lot of aspirants coming out to, I want to be governor, I want to go to the House of Reps. So as sitting governors, if you don't manage your state well, you'll be carried away by the forces of party and the interest declaration. So that's why I say it's a 50-50 thing. So the heat towards 2023 will begin in the second quarter of this year, where people will begin to permutate, who will get what, how would he get it, then this is my obstacle, how do I find a way to remove him, then the obstacle will resist, so in the process of resisting there will be conflict. And now my advice to those who are holding political power is that this is the year that we need to be very careful, because we are coming out of violence, the NSAS violence. In fact, there is a lot of tension in Nigeria as a result of hunger and poverty and all those kind of things. So leaders need to manage this year very carefully, because there are so many people on the street waiting for an opportunity to cause violence. You know, I'm talking because these are predictions, you know, that we are seeing from the signal of analysis. So those who are holding leaders need to be very careful. You know, manage the people carefully, because if you release them, they will create tension, create crisis that you yourself will not have capacity to manage. So we don't want to have that. So those are the kind of things that we're likely going to begin to see this year to 2022. Because remember, 2022, like I said, 2021 is governance 50%, politics 50%. 2022 is governance 20%, politics 80%. Because we are entering a year of selection, a year of political party domination, a year of political parties' influence, outdo me, outdo you, and all that, and all that, and all that. So we have a lot of work to do.
Thank you very much, Dr. George Athele, a senior lecturer at the Department of Political Science, University of Calabar. Thank you, Doctor, for your time, and we hope to have you and other subsequent platforms to talk with us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.